Love is Blind, season 7, episodes 3 through 6. Oh my god. I just finished episode 6. I wish I didn't have so much to cover so I could just go right to that. But we are going to be talking about all the episodes. So I'm going to start at episode 3 and then go into what we just saw. I'm probably going to have the most notes, I think, on episode 6, because honestly, 3 and 4, when it's the last couple days of the pod, it's like, okay, we get it, everyone's getting engaged, it's not that exciting, except for I am excited to talk about Leo and Brittany. Leo and Brittany are very interesting people, and I cannot wait to talk about the reveal. Okay, if you don't know, my name is Rusenica. I talk about anything casual or monumental in relation to TV shows, life, any major events. Yeah, take a look around my channel if you want to see what the heck is up. But today, let's just talk about Love is Blind right now. Okay. My notes for episode 3 are like tiny, which is great because like I said, I do want to get to the last couple of notes. Okay. So I have this is so far back. Garrett and Taylor's reveal goes well. Okay. They're genuinely the most boring people this show has, I feel like, ever really produced. Like Taylor, gorgeous girl. Oh my god. The most interesting thing about them is just Garrett's surprise and kind of, I feel like, hesitancy to knowing that she was an ethnic woman. Like that was, I feel like, was the most like, huh? Like, you guys are supposed to be boring. Like, all of a sudden we find out this man might be racist. But he's, yeah, whatever. Everything turned out fine. And she's not even like, wow. I was really about to get myself in trouble there and be like, she's not even, I feel like she's half, I feel like, what was she? She from Hong Kong? I feel like she might be half white. She gives me half white. Am I the only one? Just let me know. So their reveal, it's like, I can't really cover much other than the fact that they talked and she was like, so did you like guess my ethnicity? Like, and he's like, no. Duh. That was like kind of weird, but whatever. I don't like care for the reveals after establishing that they're good, you know, because it's just a bunch of like, oh my god, your voice, oh my god, you're beautiful, oh my, you know, it feels like a lot of this shock is settling in. It doesn't feel like they're being like fully authentic. Ugh. Okay, so then we have Marissa and Bowden, and I put in parentheses in case you're wondering who Bowden is. He's from Ukraine. They talk a lot and giggle. To me, it kind of feels like nervous, kind of school giggly, kind of like not because you genuinely find things funny, but you simply just fill in spaces with giggles because you get nervous. I do that a lot. A lot of my filler words, or the things I do to fill space, when I'm uncomfortable, will be giggling. And I think a lot of women do that, but like Bowden does that just kind of naturally as well. And I was like it's a little weird. It's a little hard for me to sit through because I was like, you guys are just sitting and talking, giggling about, I don't know, not nothing, but nearly, you know? So then we have Marissa and Ramses. I said his name incorrect the last time. So let me think of opposite of what I said. I think I said Ramses. Ramses. Is it? Okay. I said that I like both of them, but I don't know if I like Ramses for her. You know? I just kind of feel like if you were the type of girl that is like, if you're the type of girl that's like, oh, well, I traditionally go for like Trump supporters, masculine men, military guys, but like I could be open to like a soft guy who's like open to, you know, like ever-changing definitions of masculinity. I just kind of feel like, no. What? There's something there. I just cannot, I personally just could not imagine myself in that position to where it's like, I could date a Trump supporter for 3 years, or I could date somebody who's like very open and liberal. It's like, where are your values? Seriously. I don't know. Something about that just feels like there are people who are open. There are people who, you know, ebb and flow, in terms of like the things they learn and unlearn. But that to me just feels like a little bit of too much of a leap. I don't know. I just kind of am like, Marissa, who are you? Especially with these last couple episodes. This last episode where everything was very sexual was really weird. And the main driver of that was Marissa. I'm not saying she's a bad person or like a villain at all. Obviously, she's not. But it just... I get weirdness from her. You know, like ever since I learned that of her like dating history, it's like, anyway, so then we have Tyler and Ashley A. Cute, but boring. At this point, Tyler and Ashley A. are just kind of like the Tiff and Brett of the season to me. Both nice, boring conversations, you know? I literally just wrote that down. I don't even have the context of what they said to each other. I just wrote Tyler and Ashley A. That's just how I feel about them, I guess. So then we have Leo going back and forth between Brittany and Hannah. So Leo was sitting talking to Hannah. Leo's sitting talking to Brittany, just like saying nothing and just throwing compliments her way for no reason. Just being like, oh my God, I have no idea who I'm gonna choose. Like, you're amazing and you're so beautiful and you're great. And she's like, stop saying that. Like, you're just saying, like, I don't want you to keep doing this to me. And he's like, right, you're just so wise and you like know what you want. And that's what I love about you. You're the best. But I also love that same quality in her. Like, I like that about Hannah too. And you're like, shut up. Oh my God, stop talking. Woo. He just makes me so viscerally uncomfortable, dude. His brand of weirdness, like, we've all known a guy like that to be like, dude, every time you speak, it's very difficult to be around. Not because you're harmful at all, because it's like, have you ever had a conversation with somebody and it just sounded normal? I don't know. Okay, so he's just kind of going back and forth with Brittany, and it's like, if you knew how Brittany looked, you would not. What? I don't even want to like talk about that to like pin kind of Hannah against Brittany, but to me, in terms of conventional beauty standards, okay, Brittany is just somebody I feel like Leo would be more down to go towards, versus Hannah, I feel like he would be a little bit more shallow. And he says, he claims, everyone claims, I don't care if you were in this or that. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. I claimed it from the beginning. If Brittany knew how Leo looked, she would not let him drag her that way. She would not be like, oh my God, Leo. She would not like sit there and just take the stupidity that she's going through. It's stupid. So then we have Leo and Hannah talking. And I, like, every time I see them, I'm like, oh my God, stop. And Leo's just so torn between the both of them. Ugh. Ew. Okay. Ew. Okay, so then we have Ashley A and Tyler reveal. It goes well, of course. And there's nothing weird about that because it just is like, they're both cute. They both look like they're meant to be. Whatever. Then we have Hannah and Nick are getting closer and closer. Well, they're not getting closer. They fall in love. Basically, they admit to each other that they are in love. And so then that kind of makes it clear for Hannah to be like, well, I guess I don't want Leo. And then Brittany's like, yay! Oh my God! I can get to the bag. I'm getting to the bag. Literally, Brittany... If Leo didn't mention that he was wealthy, Brittany, I don't think. No, Brittany would not be here. She'd be like, well, at least my time will be paid for. Like, my time will be paid for. I want to be a trophy wife. I'll be a trophy wife for him. And I think she definitely thought that he was much, much more attractive than he is. So, yeah, whatever. Hannah and Nick fall in love. And then Leo keeps kind of mentioning, well, when Leo and Hannah meet up, because Leo's like, I just need to meet with her so that I can, like, kind of give you your validation. And I need to meet up with her so I can give you an answer as to how I feel about both of you. It's like, how are you this? I the idea, there's so many things about being in the pods that are so unrelatable to the normal people. When people say that they're so split on two very different people, I cannot physically, mentally, emotionally imagine that feeling at all of being so torn between two people that you like. Like, it, to me, it just feels like, how is that not obvious that one is just clearly bad? Like, is that a question of their lack of like lack of emotional maturity, or is it simply just like, no, it's hard to be in the pods, you know? Because these people be making it seem like the most difficult thing, but at the same time, from our end, we're like, how do you not? How do you not? Like, anyway, so I'm going into episode 4. I wrote 4 different notes, for 3 notes for episode 4, so this is going to be quick. There probably some things I forgot. We talk about the standout moments here on this channel. We do not talk about every single thing and recap every single thing. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, but I'm mentioning it now. Okay, so then episode 4, we have Leo and Hannah going back to back in conversation. That conversation was so dang stupid. It was so stupid. It made me tired. It made me like, I feel so, like the fact that they are fighting over whether or not Hannah is fully like decided that it's Nick, and the fact that Leo's so confused and he's like putting pressure on her. That conversation made me not even sick. It just made me feel bad. Like, it wasn't even like the drama that you die for. It's not even the drama that you like request to see. It's like the drama that you're like, what is this? Why are these people going so hard about this stupidity? Like, oh my god. It's like fun to see, but it's only fun to see for like a few minutes. After that, it's like, nobody cares this much about these two individuals. Like, I don't care. I'm genuinely not really rooting for Leo or Hannah in a lot of ways. So to me, it's kind of like they wasted a decent amount of time on this. But I mean, I'm still down to see it because I love to thrive on the chaos. But I'm like, we spent so much I'm spending too much time talking about this. Let me go to my next note. So then we have Steven, who's the white passing man who's 3/5 black. He and Monica. We can't have anything. Even white people be ruining blackness for real. What the hell? What do you mean even white? Okay. Monica and Steven get engaged. It all goes well. I don't have anything to say about this at all. Like, I literally can't need to go to the next interesting thing. So Marissa chooses Ramses, leaving Bowden alone. Bowden, you're like so adorable. You're like so adorable. I hate that that just happened and I said that because it's like annoying for some random guy who's just likable to be like infantilized. Like, I hate that I did that to you, Bowden. But I want to see Bowden happy. I feel like him sharing his past with us, that was very touching and very real. And I hate to see it. But I am going to love probably to see it whenever they do all meet up. And it seems like Marissa's getting a little too flirty with him. You know what I mean? But honestly, she's so obsessed with Ramses right now that it's kind of hard to be like, that's gonna go bad. You know, it's like, I don't see that going bad. But it could be, because the previews made it seem weird. Okay, episode 5. We see that Leo is gonna propose to Brittany, and it reads this dumb poem that leads into a proposal. Like, I wish I wrote it down so I could recite it and it would sound like it's coming from a middle schooler, because that's exactly how it hit me. How did this make it out of the 8th grade? It's everything about Leo, the fact that he's like constantly bragging about his wealth. How does this man run his company? into the ground, I think, is how it probably is how, like, you would expect it to go, because I just feel like this man needs help with everything. I don't know how this man has, like, the fact that, like, wealth can be passed down to people like him. And there are people who deserve so much working minimum wage jobs, like, heavily in, like, wouldn't even like, the fact that, like, a bunch of people like him just be, like, set for life is so unfair. Just such, like, these are the things that make me question if God is here. These are genuinely the things that make me question, like, anyway, I need to stop. I'm going to go into existential crisis right here. Anyway, so, yeah, so he's, like, reading this whole thing, and Brittany's like, okay. Okay, Leo. Isn't it crazy? She thinks she's gonna see somebody so fine, so wealthy. She's gonna be set. And then she gets, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go on to the next thing that I wrote. I said, we get a Hannah and Nick proposal. Oh, shit. I say proposal when I mean reveals. I really hope that you inferred that the last time that I said that, because I've been saying this the whole time. It's so sorry. So Hannah and Nick, they see each other, and Hannah looks uncomfortable. Hannah, like, looks at him. She's like, literally from the time that she, like, the reveal happened, she's like, this is, like, when the doors are closed. She's like, and then when the doors open, she's like, wow. You felt that in your soul. Like, can you imagine being on the show and, like, your mom, your neighbors, your grade school teachers are just watching you be like, ooh, oh my God. I could, like, I'm not strong enough to go through that, and I know that. I'm never going on this show. I'm not strong enough to take these things that are so cringe. Love is Blind, I think, started off as something that was kind of like, oh, this will never work. It's such a weird, stupid, controversial thing, to just being known for its cringy, weird moments that we all look forward to. Like, I mean, it's always been cringe, but I feel like as time goes on, it's so far away from, like, the idea that, like, maybe, like, most of these couples will work out. It's like, oh, let's see, like, how cringe we can be. Let's see how mismatched these people are going to be, Like, we're looking for embarrassment. We're not really looking for connection and rooting for them as much. At least that's me. I might just be projecting. So, Hannah does not like Nick because of the false advertising. I said out loud to my husband before she said it, I was like, I think that because she constantly was saying that, he was, like, into football, and, like, he kept mentioning football, she kept mentioning football, that there was a certain idea of, like, this bigger guy who was, like, very muscly and, like, tall. And we see Nick, and he's, like, a little bit smaller, and she already is insecure, and she's not, like, outwardly honestly saying that she's insecure, but she is. Like, she's not outwardly saying, I don't really like it when well, she is, no. I will give it to her. She does say that she doesn't like when a guy is, like, smaller, but she says it in a way, it's like, it's not a me thing. It's not a me thing. Yeah, it is. It's not bad to admit that it's a me thing, that you feel uncomfortable. Like, even me as somebody who's shorter than everyone, like, I feel like just inherently a lot of women who are, like, bigger, even, like, tall, have been kind of, there is, like, the security issue of being, like, women are supposed to be petite and much smaller than their guys. So she probably wants somebody that's heftier and, like, a football guy, because that makes her feel more like what we've been told women are supposed to feel. To me, it is a her thing with her, because I feel like we know the type of girls where it's like, that's not a thing for them. Where it's like girls who are like, yeah, I'll date somebody shorter. I don't really care. Like, I like anyone. But she kind of feels like somebody who's, like, trying to convince herself into things. You know what I mean? Okay. Leo and Brittany's reveal. Physically uncomfortable. I'm so, like, have you ever been so cringe that you, like, are outside of your own body looking at somebody else's cringy, uncomfortable situation? I was taken, like, out of my own body looking at this situation. Being, like, having this secondhand cringe. It's not even secondhand cringe for real. It's literal just, I felt that. Like, okay. So, Leo and Brittany open up, and we see that they're kind of like, not they, I think Leo's, like, excited. But Brittany's kind of, like, just taking everything in, like, ah. And I had to say to my husband, I was like, I need to know how these people normally interact with people, because the way that they are, they're both weird. So I need to see them when they're being normal, because I don't know if this is naturally just them being weirdos, or if, like, they really are just, like, not like, if they're just simply reacting weirdly, or they're just, like, weird. Leo was, like, so happy with how, like, attractive she is, and of course, Brittany, like, we knew that whoever ended up getting Brittany, which it seems like Leo and Brittany are so perfectly matched, dude. He's rich, she wants to be a trophy wife, he's awkward and weird, she's, like, a little, like, quirky, and a little, I don't know, I feel like there's this thing about her that I feel like she only really hears people when money talks, you know what I mean? But, like, she'll look past the weirdness. I think, like, honestly, the whole problem with Leo and Brittany is just that Leo just was not physically attractive. I think that if he was physically attractive, he could still be weird. He would be viewed as, like, quirky, he would be viewed as, like, funny, he'd be viewed as whatever. But the fact that he looks like that, I think, is just the deal breaker, because she was so uncomfortable, and who wouldn't be? Like, God, can you imagine if it was, like, a Leo and Hannah situation? Like, it was just so weird, dude. So they're just, like, talking. They, like, go to the wrong, well, I don't know. Did the producers say, like, hey, just by the time that you guys see each other, sit down? I don't know if the couples instinctually just go to, like, the back bench that they talk at, or if they're like, sit down anywhere, whatever feels best to you, and they want it to be the back bench, but it's like they went to the couch. And Leo is so weird. He's, like, touching her. I just feel physically ill at this, because I just can't, like, that's just so embarrassing for her. He's like touching her head weirdly. They're kissing like every 5 seconds. I think that Brittany's honestly just, like, coming to terms with the shock of it, and just, like, leaning into, like, his physical affection out of just, like, what can you do here, I guess? And he's like, I love you so much, I love out of you, and she's like, I can't really say it yet, so there's always one thing that, like, will lead to the audience knowing, like, oh, this person isn't it for this other person. And of course, the whole I don't feel comfortable saying I love you, that will do it. You wrap it up. And instead of, you know, like, leaning into that and knowing, like, oh, she might not be into me, or as into me as I'm into her, instead of him reading the room, he just said, it's okay if you don't tell me that you love me. It's okay if you never tell me that you love me. It's okay that if you never tell me that you love me. Have you ever heard anybody admit that? It's okay if you never love me, I'll love you forever, because I love kind of you. Okay. So like, these reveals, they just go on for too long, dude. They feel so incredibly uncomfortable. The tension in the air is there, because I think they cut the music, right? Yeah, they cut the music, so you just have to feel everything that they're feeling, and you're like, yeesh, get me out of here. Anyway, I need to stop talking about them. I probably talked about for like 5 minutes. So we see directly after their reveal, we see a message that they're, oh my god, this is like the most annoying part of the show is you like root for bad reveals to happen. You root for uncomfortable situations to go through, and then when they do, and it's like, shit, we're gonna get them to Mexico and they're gonna be uncomfortable and it's gonna have problems, and then we see Leo and Brittany have refused, or not refused, but they essentially turned down going to Mexico and are going to Miami like they talked about in the reveal. And then they break up the engagement a couple weeks later. What am I watching this for? Like, what's the point? What's the point? I like, as much as I don't like Leo and I find that, and Brittany, I found the entertainment value to be so good there. Okay? Like, honestly, we lost some good ones. We really did. And I'm mad because I don't even think we see, like, previews with them in it. So hopefully we just go to the reunion and they're just a little bit too honest about what's happened. But up until then, I don't think we're going to get any tea, which is so annoying. And I'm not going to go to their Instagrams to find out either. Like, I don't care. But I just, like, I watch these shows for bad couples to go on the honeymoon so we can see the tea. Like, and I know, like, you just know that those two have the personality to be like, yeah, we're not going to continue this. We're not going to continue the show. We're going to break our contract. Leo has the money to back it up, so boo-hoo, we're not going to continue with Love is Blind. I personally think Brittany was probably a little bit too embarrassed of how ugly Leo was, because he's ugly and awkward. It feels so mean to call people ugly, but, like, let's just be. I'm not saying that I am saying I don't think he's attractive, but I think she specifically was just like, could not be talked into, like, being a couple on TV. And so she was like, I think I have to dead this. I have to dead at all costs. I'm deading this. This is not happening to me. So, okay. Then we see the footage of Mexico and all the couples are getting comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Nick and Hannah, to me, are doing much better than expected. I kind of thought it was going to be like a situation to where I thought that Nick was going to be a little bit more shallow. I genuinely did. Just, this show was a show that, like, I don't want to admit the things that are just, that I feel societally. Like, I don't want to admit that Hannah, to me, doesn't meet the idea of, you know, like, the beauty standard, because, like, I don't go by that at all. Like, I don't. But to me, I kind of felt like Nick would definitely be a little, would feel a different type of way, have a different reaction, which makes me feel really bad to say. But they're doing better than expected. I'm just gonna say that. They're doing better than expected. Crazy that I wrote that note, and it's like, that, why would I write that? Okay. So then I see that the couples are interacting all over the hotel, blah, blah, blah. We see everybody kind of talking, getting situated, getting comfortable. We see the pool scene with Ashley and Tyler. First of all, why is Tyler low-key fine? Why am I looking at Tyler in a different light when he's in the pool? There was something about his shirt being off. I don't know what it is, but there was something about him that I was like, you're kind of like, you're like more attractive than I've ever seen you. I don't know what the heck. I don't know what the heck. But something for me flipped in my mind. I felt the same way about Ramses. Like, if I'm mispronouncing his name, I'm deleting this. Just kidding. Obviously not, but I will feel that pressure to do it. And I'm gonna hate myself. But, I was talking about how Tyler was fine. Oh my god. What was Ashley wearing in the pool? If you don't remember, she was wearing like this red ruffly like jacket in the pool. It wasn't a jacket, but it like felt like a cover up. It didn't feel like material that was supposed to be in the pool, but you know what? If it makes you happy, Ashley, congratulations, it made you happy, but now you're gonna be clowned for the next couple of like days about the fact that you wore that. I know I know the internet is not reacting well to that. Like, um, Alex and Tim. Alex asks if she seems bossy, which is like, honestly, when people are like, you think I'm bossy? Yeah, like, it's like one in every couple of hundred people who, if they ask if they're bossy, they're not bossy. People who are aware of their bossiness, to me, are so difficult to be around. Like, so to me, it kind of gave it like a little bit of a pink flag. It was kind of like a, now that you said something, I can't unsee it. So then Tim says, I don't argue, I don't yell. That's when I know I have to go. After the whole, like, do you think I'm bossy? Do you think I guess they were talking about more things. I was like, interesting. Because on one hand, it's good to keep up boundaries, to know that, you know, like, you're not going to be entertaining anything that you deem to be BS is just not going to be handled by you. But at the same time, arguing is healthy. Like, like good arguments that are not harmful, that are not mean-spirited, that are not that do not use derogatory terms, that are not bad. Okay? Arguments that are from people expressing themselves, that are not whatever the heck I just said. Arguments are good. Yelling is not. Okay, I do understand the yelling. I do understand that I'm not gonna yell. Like, that's not just, I think that honestly, people's different definitions of arguing has sometimes, I think sometimes people don't understand the basic definition, because even when couples are like, yeah, we don't argue. You've never had just a disagreement. You've never just had a disagreement that just like had some misunderstanding. Really? The whole I don't argue thing is like weird. It's like, like, you're a real couple, and real couples argue. My grandpa tried to pull that on me a couple years ago, talking about how he and his wife, my grandma, just like never argue. Yeah, they did. He told me a story about one argument that they had, and one time she got mad at him a couple days after. Like, y'all need to know what arguing really is. It's not like relationship ending conversations. It's like conversations that like help you grow as people. People are weird, bro. Like, me and my husband argue, and it's completely fine. We learn so much about each other after that. I personally appreciate an argument. I do. I don't view it as something. I need to get off of this. Okay. Nick and Hannah feel weird because they feel like bestie vibes. You know what I mean? Like, they are both also just immature people. To me, I feel like the extent of their romantic connection would be like, dare I say, a one-night stand. I don't feel a connection between them that's genuinely romantic at all. I feel just like they're like, they know how to talk to each other, and maybe they connect over little things. They would be cool in high school for sure. Like, but is anyone rooting for them? Let me know if you guys are Nick and Hannah people. But me being like, people. Seriously though, I do want to know if anybody thinks that they are compatible in any way. But I just think that it's like uncomfortable and immature. Okay, so I wrote a note when I saw Ashley and Tyler praying together, because that's just such beautiful unity. My God, that is a connection. Like, that's just so, praying together with your spouse or praying together with your partner, it's just such a deep, beautiful thing to see. I just love it. I do. Anyway, we have Garrett and Taylor just gaggling together. They're cute and they're boring again. They're just cute and boring. I'll talk about them, like, for real whenever they bring up some for real content, but just know I do have real things to say about them. It's just right now I don't. So Ramses and Marissa talking about how they had a moment, and oh, sorry, I just realized this is like the beginning of Marissa talking about these physical connections. So Marissa and Ramses are sitting down on the bed talking about how they might have broken a record and having sex for the first time. I don't know how much I can say on YouTube. Like, does it repress my video if I just be like, sex, they did sex with each other? Like, Like, I'm so nervous. I'm gonna try to really skate by using that so that I don't get in trouble or anything. Okay. Ramses and Marissa, the whole thing is like, okay, yeah, that was like kind of cute because they feel kind of giddy about it with each other. That was like the first time that it was mentioned. After their fourth or fifth time, where Marissa's like, yeah, we just do it all the time. Yeah, he's so attractive. Yeah, it is like, I understand the giddiness and the excitement, but it's also like the emphasis on this is just so, it feels forced in a way. Like, it could be natural, but the conversation feels forced. Okay, so then we have Hannah getting the ick. Oh, this moment. Hannah getting the ick from Nick wanting to be immature about riding the plastic beach ducks. I can't blame her about getting the ick from that. I think, like, moments where your partner wants to do something that you just don't want, like, you just feel uncomfortable by because it feels a little immature. Like, I don't, like, the amount of, my husband has ADHD, okay? I've had those moments so many times. Oh my God! But, I kind of feel like that was a little bit of a moment where she was kind of trying to be like, I'm just too cool, bro. Like, you could not catch me. Like, it felt like from a place of judgment as opposed to a place from like, ew, that's so weird, but whatever, do you? Like, it felt like ew, that's so weird, you can catch me, I'm not gonna be caught dead doing that. She doesn't feel like she's 26, she feels like she's 20, you know? But at the same time, people will say that, like, oh, 26-year-old, I'm 25, I feel like I'm just a little bit more mature than she is. But at the same time, I don't really know, I can't really gauge the maturity of other 26-year-olds because I don't really know a lot of people my exact age, unless, who are that immature, you know what I mean? So, okay. I just, like, Hannah, to me, just kind of feels like she is trying to play cool girl, and I feel like she says a lot of things that kind of contradict what she feels, and it's hard to even say that because it's like, okay, prove it. I don't know how to prove it, but it just kind of feels like the moment with the ducks, she was kind of acting like she was above it, and she probably was like, ew, but then she was like, Nick, come here, when that woman wanted to talk to her, or the woman wanted to talk to Nick, and she was like, I'm not being jealous. You were being jealous. And if my husband was randomly just talking to this random woman who wanted to, like, play with him, I would be feeling a little insecure too, and I would have to admit that to myself and to him. And that's a me problem, that's not a him problem. Like, that's me. Like, and I feel like she just needs to admit it. I just feel like there's an immaturity in kind of selling yourself these narratives that just don't feel right, you know? Because I feel like I see that with her. I don't know. And I don't feel like it's a age thing. I truly feel like it's a maturity thing. Because some people, when they get older, they don't get more mature. Some people don't. I don't feel like I maybe see that for her. So, Garrett and Taylor, dude, they're just so evenly matched. It's so hard to, like, get excited about their scenes, because every single time they talk, it just feels like an HR approved conversation. I sit and I look at them and I'm like, wow, you're cute, it's so compatible, I'm glad you got over the whole ethnic thing, but let's keep going. So then we have Ramses and Marissa, and talking about their damn physical connection. Okay, we get it, you guys like how each other be looking. Next. So then we have Ashley A and Tyler. I want them to work so bad, dude, because I just want them to be our next Tiffany and Brett. My God, I want them to be our next Tiffany and Brett. By the way, how are they doing? I don't keep up with these people. I don't care after the season ends. Unless they be popping out a child, then I'll, like, sneak over to their Instagrams. But I just feel like once Love is Blind is ended, it's like, what's the point? What's the point of keeping up? Okay, Alex and Tim. Alex, after saying she was bossy, like, I can't unsee the critical nature because it just seems like every time she says something that's even remotely critical or negative, it just is like, ooh, this is not, would probably be draining to be around, you know what I mean? I genuinely feel really bad for, not really bad, I feel for Tim because I kind of feel like we've all been around somebody who's been so, like, critical, and it feels like negative and hard to be around. Oh my god, because you can't, I'm not gonna say you can't bring it up, but like sometimes you can't bring it up around that person. Ever since she said she was bossy, to me, just my vision has been kind of like tinted by that. Then I made a note that Alex has never lived with somebody before. That's a tough adjustment to make, I feel, in adulthood. Although the only person I've ever lived with, well, the only people I've ever lived with were my college, well, lived with somebody as an adult, my college roommate, and then I guess my husband. And yeah, like, getting used to somebody is difficult, and I feel like I've never lived with somebody who's been like deeply critical. My husband's like organized. I'm a little bit messier than he is, but even that adjustment when you love somebody is difficult. So, I feel bad for Tim. Okay, I have a note written down going to Monica and Steven. I asked, does Monica like him? Because, by the way, if you don't remember, Monica is the woman, I think one of her parents is from Honduras or whatever, and one of her parents is black, and then Steven is just white passing. Well, he's like mainly white. Well, not mainly white, like he is. Like, I don't even know if Monica likes Steven because it kind of feels like he feels a little bit annoyed by him. She can recognize that he's really sweet, and she likes that other people view him as sweet. But even moments where she was just talking about how attractive he was, she was saying, would I say that he's the most physically attractive? Would I ever walk up to him and, notice him? No, I wouldn't. I don't think he's somebody I would have chosen in the real world. But because I know him now, and because we made a connection in the pods, like, yeah, I would say he's attractive. Like, dang, like, okay. Like, you do not you physically would not gravitate towards him, and the only reason you like him is because you were in the whatever. Like, I don't know, like, it just felt like a little bit of a drag, and it wasn't supposed to be, but it felt like it. And then the amount of times where she would kind of like when they were having the massage, the amount of times that the owner conversation came up, and she was just kind of saying it in like a judge. It just felt not everything about her. Some things about her feels very judge. I hate how critical I'm being of these women. I'm sorry, but like, that's just how I'm feeling. I need to go off how I'm feeling, and it has to be authentic. So if I am making a lot of notes about women and their judgmentalness, oh well, okay, because that's just how it hit me. And no one cared if I was being judgmental. You were looking at a recap of a show on my channel. So then we have the pool party. Oh, yes, sir. I wasn't too concerned about this pool party because, like, there are no matches that have had overlap, right? So I'm not like, oh my god, this is gonna be it's kind of like, oh, we'll just see how these people react to each other, right? Okay. Monica, so I guess Monica meets Nick and makes a specific comment. It was actually pretty funny. It was like, Nick had BDE in the pods, but he's small in real life. Oof. So, like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I was gonna say, oh, that's rough. But I mean, sometimes it just is, sometimes you just, I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of other people would probably agree. And like, I feel like that's kind of the assessment that we had as the audience, Okay. So I said, Steven made this really funny comment about Garrett, saying that he looks like a middle-class Chris Evans. that's just like the nicer way of saying you look like the poor man's blah blah blah, insert celebrity, because you don't want to be mean about it. No, like, I am finished about that one, because that actually that actually felt a little accurate to me. They were like, no, maybe in person he doesn't, but honestly, he kind of has like a Chris Evans-ness to him. Not nearly as attractive, obviously, but there's something about him that feels very much like a stale poor man's Chris Evans. I don't know, but it hit me as accurate whenever he said it. Excuse me. So Marissa toasts to the night and to everyone to have hot sex, which, Marissa with the physical, like, I get it. It's fun. It's, like, so fun to find out the tea about how everyone would be connecting and stuff, but it's also kind of like, why do you care so? I just feel like she's the main driver of this narrative, and it just feels a little immature. This whole thing, like, the whole cast, it just feels a little bit immature, especially when they're having little drunk conversations. They're like, so how are you doing? You're doing it every second, every day? Like, you're really into him? Is it, it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't expect depth or anything out of these little conversations, but it was a little obnoxious. Did it not feel a little, am I being a prude? I don't know. So, Hannah and Nick aren't talking about by Nick's request, which is like, what? Why and we did hear a little bit about that whenever he was talking to Hannah about it being like, I have a brand to keep. What brand do you have to keep up, Nick? Like, what are you, like, making a wholesome Christian content or something? A brand. Anyway. So, the groups all talk together, and they're just drunk. Like, there are some things on reality TV where I'm like, oh, this is, like, so fun. No, like, when you're just looking at drunk conversations, it's a little bit harder to enjoy it. It kind of just feels like we're just literally looking at, like, little lab rats and having to be, I don't know. It's, like, my most favorite, but also most cringe part of Love is Blind is these little conversations. Monica drunkenly, what the hell? Okay, so this moment, I just had to take a beat before I read it. What was this? When Monica was, like, talking to the group and being like, I love the fact that you're barely black. Was she saying that in, like, a way that was like, I love, like, I feel like there were moments that we just missed from that conversation. Was it kind of like I need to do my history and I need to study up on my roots and my ancestry. But, like, you're putting all the emphasis on something, even though you're literally, like, barely black, I feel like but it also felt weird because it was like, what do you mean you love that he's barely black? What? Like, what? Let me know if that was weird. I don't like, I just didn't love that. I thought that was, like, a little, like, we're missing context, but also they were drunk and we don't know the full conversation. So Nick is recapping the whole. Nick and Hannah are really interesting in the way that anything happens between them, they're going to their friends and talking about it. They're not having constructive conversations together, and that to me is why they are so immature. There are other reasons as to why they're mature, but if you hear about what a problem that your spouse has with you outside of you guys, like, don't be together. So Nick is recapping the whole duck thing and describes the woman that he interacted with as, she was 60, but she was bad. That is not even funny because, like, there are some probably bad 60-year-olds. But then he talks about how he ran into a pros and cons list that Hannah had made. But did they talk about it maturely? No, they didn't. But honestly, even the way that it was talked about, I feel like would further, if I was Hannah, fuel my insecurity of, like, yeah, she was 60, but she was bad. It's like, so then it wasn't kind of just, like, a little harmless, like, thing that maybe I didn't need to be insecure about. Like, you did say that she was bad. Like, so maybe you were looking for a little bit of, like, attention. You know what I mean? Like, I do kind of, but at the same time, Hannah didn't admit to us or herself that she found it a little weird and that she was jealous. Okay, so Hannah and Nick are just like weird all around. I'm not rooting for them. I don't care. They're just, I don't know. So the guys, I'll interview the girl, or the girls will interview the guys. I like the idea of having to speak to the women in order for like the girls to bear witness to how the men are as partners. I like that idea because I don't know, you just like sometimes it just you like sometimes these men just need to be grilled, you know what I mean? It's like scary to enter a new relationship with a stranger even though you've talked to them and kind of vetted them. It's like also kind of put them through some sort of group dynamic, but it's also kind of like annoying. It's annoying, and to have it has a tone of like drunk immaturity at the same time, you know. So to kind of go through like some of the people's answers, Tim's I found were kind of interesting because he felt so even keeled that it almost felt a little weird. Like, oh yeah, you have no issues, even though like she seems like a very difficult person to be around. I don't know. And also it was weird that he said that he like likes pushing back, and that was like their whole thing is like, I like how she pushes me and I push her back. That sounds like a foundation for toxicity. It really does. Um and then I really like Steven is just so wholesome. I feel like Steven is the type of guy that a lot of girls would call like annoying. um and that like he needs to find somebody that will appreciate him for him. And I just feel like Monica, I don't know if Monica really like sees him and like appreciates him, God, in the way that he needs to be, you know? Okay. So Hannah and Nick with the whole pros and cons list thing. It's kind of like brought out. Nick is like, so the whole pros and cons list, and she's like, yeah. They kind of talk about it, but they kind of don't. I don't know. We'll talk more about it in like a couple seconds about the second note that I made about their pros and cons list and the beach incident when they get back to their little hotel room. So I wrote down Marissa and then I didn't finish the note. Okay, I said Monica just barely seems to like Steven. This is like how I don't know how anyone else is feeling about this season. I didn't watch, I think, any of the recaps from episode 6 because I just finished it. So I like don't know if I'm not reading this correctly, but it just seems like Monica like does not like him that much. Like I think that she likes attention. I think that she likes that he's sweet, but I think there's something missing for her that is like really kind of not letting her lean into him. Like even when Steven was just kind of gushing and talking and like, I have a husband with ADHD, okay? Like I know that's probably like the third time I said it this video. But sometimes when people just go on like little rants, sometimes people get lost in whatever the heck they're saying. I feel like the way that she responded was kind of like, you have to let me talk, babe. It's not fair. You have to let me talk. And she was being like, she's like being like a little intense about it. And he was just like excited. And I understand like it's annoying sometimes to just let people talk. But I felt like it was kind of in a way that was like ugh. I can't believe you're talking for this long. You don't just like I can't believe I let you talk to me for this long, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like Steven like this I'm feeling a little like nervous for him. A little. And I really just I want Monica to be good to him. I do. And overall she's like pretty okay and like recognizes that he's a good person, but I don't know, there's like some moments of like tension after that because things got so tense after that moment. Okay. So I made a note that Hannah and Nick go over the beach incident, and nothing was really said that much, but Hannah did kind of admit to the fact that she was like she was being rude to me, and I don't think she was being like rude. I think she was just being kind of direct, being like, listen, don't be jealous, I'm just whatever. And she did kind of she misrepresented the interaction with who was like Marissa. Was it Marissa that she talked to, or was it Monica? She did say like Hannah said this woman this woman was basically calling me a jealous bitch, you know? And Nick just like didn't say anything. No, the woman didn't call you a jealous. She called you a jealous woman. I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of like an over dramatization of that whole thing. So they go to the beach incident, but not really. I don't feel like they really dive in. I did appreciate her kind of sharing some more of her real feelings, and Nick did understand her feelings and said like, you know what, I do agree. But I think there's so much that's so unsaid between them. I think there's so much that's like unsaid in Hannah, unsaid that Hannah like has to work through herself. And I think that's just a maturity issue. I think it is. Okay. So last part of this video is me talking about the morning after the party. Alex and Tim talk about an argument that they had last night. We don't see the argument. We have no idea what happened. We only know from what the other contestants were saying about how like it was kind of weird between Alex and Tim, as well as Alex and Tim themselves kind of recapping this argument. So it seems as though Alex got really either overwhelmed or something, and she kind of, I guess, sparked an argument after Tim was just kind of, I guess, trying to see what was going on. And she claims that she was just homesick. Oh, God, sorry. She claims that she was homesick and just a little bit bothered, and that maybe she snapped after that and they just kind of got into it. And so as Tim was kind of trying to work through the situation, she physically like put her hand on his mouth, which is like, that's a lot. Like, can you imagine after the second day of being with somebody? Also, she's very different, I feel like, in the pods versus out. Like I said, like the criticalness I didn't catch really. But it's also like you're putting your best foot forward in the pods. That's what's so dangerous about the pods, is that your communication is looking for the over idealization of what's happening in that moment. It's not looking for the critical things that are going to actually build in a relationship. And that's why only so few people come out with success. But I just like, this is a tale of like, be careful of going into the pods. You're gonna end up in this situation. It's crazy. I'm getting tired. I need to go. If you have anything that I did not mention that you would like to mention, please leave it in the comments, because I definitely forgot something. Let me know if you think that Hannah and Nick are a real couple. Let me know if you think that Tyler and Ashley are going to be the next, what is their name? Tiff and Brett. Let me know if you think that Taylor and Garrett are boring. Because those are all things that I feel and would like some discourse on. But yeah, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is, I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or night.